All right. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada. All glories to our beloved speaker for today, His Grace Kantiya Prabhu. And all glories to the Assembled Vaishnavi devotees. Devotees, we thank you all for being here. As always, today is Monday, a new beginning of another week. And we are grateful that we have His grace with us today. Originally, it would have been Mother Sri Radha Govinda speaking today, but she couldn't be here. So it's so beautiful that Kantiya Prabhu came in place of her to share Krishna Katha with us. So Hare Krishna. So without further ado, Prabhuji will put the verse on the screen and then we may begin. Okay. Hare Krishna. Will you take it, Prabhu?
Oh, you want me to read? What? The Sanskrit? What?
Yeah, maybe I just read it the paper.
Nayantaram Bhagavati Yasamasta Kukshav Atmanam Atmani Nabho Nabasiva Dhira Pashyanti Yatra Yuvayo Suralingino Kim Vyutpaditam Yudarabedi Bhayam Yatusya. So let's remember these are the Kumaras speaking. We can go to the translation. In the Vaikuntha world, there is a complete harmony between the residents and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as there is complete harmony within space, between the big and the small skies. Why then is there a seed of fear in this field of harmony? These two persons are dressed alike inhabitants of Vaikuntha. They are talking about Jai and Vijay. But where from can their disharmony come into existence?
All right, so per Prabhuji's permission, Prabhuji has asked me to read the purport. So please let us all be rapt attentive and listen to Srila Prabhupada's purport. So purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Just as there are different departments in each state in this material world, the civil department and the criminal department, so in God's creation, there are two departments of existence. As in the material world, we find that the criminal department is far, far smaller than the civil department. So this material world, which is considered the criminal department, is 1/4 of the entire creation of the Lord. All living entities who are residents of the material universes are considered to be more or less criminals because they do not wish to abide by the order of the Lord, or they are against the harmonious activities of God's will. The principle of creation is that the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is by nature joyful, and He becomes many in order to enhance His transcendental joy. The loving entities like ourselves, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are meant to satisfy the senses of the Lord. Thus, whenever there is a discrepancy in that harmony, immediately the loving entity is entrapped by Maya or illusion. The external energy of the Lord is called the material world, and the kingdom of the internal energy of the Lord is called Vaikuntha, or the kingdom of God. In the Vaikuntha world, there is no disharmony between the Lord and the residents. Therefore, God's creation in the Vaikuntha world is perfect. There is no cause of fear. The entire kingdom of God is such a completely harmonious unit that there is no possibility of enmity. Everything there is absolute. Just as there are many physiological constructions within the body, yet they work in one order for the satisfaction of the stomach, and just as in a machine, there are hundreds and thousands of parts, yet they ran in harmony to fulfill the function of the machine. In the Vaikuntha planets, the Lord is perfect, and the inhabitants also perfectly engaged in the service of the Lord. The Mayavadi philosophers, the impersonalists, interpret this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam to mean that the small sky and the big sky are one. But this idea cannot stand. The example of the big sky and the small skies is also applicable within a person's body. The big sky is the body itself, and the intestines and other parts of the body occupy the small sky. Each and every part of the body has individuality, even though occupying a small part of the total body. Similarly, the whole creation is the body of the Supreme Lord, and we created beings, or anything that is created, are but a small part of that body. The parts of the body are never equal to the whole. This is never possible. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the living entities who are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord are eternally parts and parcels. According to the Mayavadi philosophers, the living entity in illusion considers himself part and parcel, although he is actually one and the same as the Supreme Whole. This theory is not valid. The oneness of the whole and the part is in their quality. The qualitative oneness of the small and the large portions of the sky does not imply that the small sky becomes the big sky. There is no cause for the politics of divide and rule in the Vaikuntha planets. There is no fear because of the united interests of the Lord and the residents. Maya means disharmony between living entities and the Supreme Lord. And Vaikuntha means harmony between them. Actually, all living entities are provided for and maintained by the Lord because he is the supreme living entity. But foolish creatures, although actually under the control of the supreme living entity, defy his existence, and that state is called Maya. Sometimes they deny that there is such a being as God. They say everything is void, and sometimes they deny him in a different way. There may be a God, but he has no form. Both these conceptions arise from the rebellious condition of the living entity. As long as this rebellious condition prevails, the material world will continue in disharmony. Harmony or disharmony is realized because of the law and order of a particular place. Religion is the law and order of the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we find that religion means devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Krishna says, give up all other religious principles and simply become a soul surrendered unto me. This is religion. when one is fully conscious that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and supreme Lord, and one acts accordingly, that is real religion. Anything which goes against this principle is not religion. Therefore, Krishna says, just give up all other religious principles. In the spiritual world, this religious principle of Krishna consciousness is maintained in harmony, and therefore, that world is called Vaikuntha. If the same principles can be adopted here, wholly or partially, then it is also Vaikuntha. So it is with any society, such as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. If the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, putting faith in Krishna at the center, live in harmony according to the order and principles of Bhagavad Gita, then they are living in Vaikuntha, not in this material world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, dear Prabhu. So as I said in the beginning, if anybody like to ask any question on any of these topics, or maybe just highlight a theme that you like me to give some comments, or anybody has some reflection they want to share with us, the floor is open.
Well, Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for taking up this service.
It's a pleasure, it's an honor.
Yeah, my question will be, first, in fact, just about 4 or so days ago, I said like maybe 3 days ago, I did write a little write-up. And in my write-up, I was saying that we will be deceiving ourselves thinking that we could have Vaikuntha-like principles in this material world. Here in the prayer position, Prabhupada is saying that particularly the members of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, if we can live by the principles of the Bhagavad Gita, wholly or partially, then we can experience Vaikuntha-like life in this material world. And the key word here is if, because as it is now, maybe I haven't been to that place yet, but I did not find it where devotees in particular live the Bhagavad Gita principles, and therefore we have this wind of Vaikuntha in this material world. What to speak of the general world? So is it actually likely that this material world will experience Vaikuntha life in this world? Is it likely that it's ever going to happen?
We can experience some of the principles. See, Srila Prabhupada stressed a lot on this concept of harmony between the wishes of the Lord and the wishes of the living entity. And we could say, according to that principle, if a community, a place applies the principle, then of course there are elements, there is a resemblance, or there are some principle of the Vaikuntha sphere of existence. Of course, it's done through the vehicles of the material body. So there would still be birth, old age, disease, death, but at least there will be a community that is learning the principles of the Bhagavad Gita, is discussing the principles of the Bhagavad Gita, the principles of the Bhagavatam. just like we are doing now. You are kindly creating a replica of Vaikuntha here, in the sense that we are all, I mean, today it's me, tomorrow somebody else, but we are all speaking and hearing about the Bhagavata, which is, it's a literally expression of the absolute truth. So in this sense, there is some element, some principles of Vaikuntha. There may not be the airplanes which are described in Vaikuntha. There may not be the 7 walls and 7 gates, which is a description of Vaikuntha. We may not see Narayan, Lakshmi Narayan, which is visible in Vaikuntha. At the same time, we are all under training. We are all under training. And so the same principles are there. Like you are a professional nurse, when you were in training, you were doing basically the same things you are doing now, but maybe sometime, I know, for instance, sometimes nurses are trained with rubber bodies, right? Now you got to push here, you got to insert here. So in one sense, you are engaged in the medical profession, in the nursing profession, but of course, it's a practicing level. Then when you graduate, then you do it with real people, real bodies, real patients. But still, you could say, still is the medical profession, even if you are under training. So Srila Prabhupada is stressing that the principles can be the same and they should be the same, although they are done in practice. Like, for instance, Srila Prabhupada explained, one is perfected in Krishna consciousness, one goes to the planet in this material world, not directly in the Vaikuntha world, Goloka or other planets, in this material world where Krishna is doing his pastimes. So it says, there we see Krishna for the first time. And then we practice and we perfect our bhakti. We perfect our attraction by seeing Krishna personally. Now, of course, we can see the deities, we can see the pictures, we can see the holy name, we can chant the holy name. But when we are transferred to the place where Krishna is doing his leelas, that's called Bhauma Leela, the leela in this material world, then we become completely purified, and then next we go to Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha. So there is always an element of training. So it's different and non-different. Just like you have a country who has an embassy in some other country, technically, legally, that embassy is not the hosting country, it's the original country. Like, for instance, say you have an embassy of Ghana. You have an embassy of Ghana in Hungary. Now, that particular embassy in Ghana, the Ghana embassy in Hungary is technically Ghana, but you will not find everything you find in Ghana. For instance, Hungary, I chose Hungary because Hungary doesn't have a sea, doesn't have an ocean, doesn't have a sea. It's a landlocked. So when you are in that embassy, you can say, yes, I'm in Ghana, but you will not have the ocean like you have actually in Ghana. So you are in Ghana, but it's an approximation of Ghana. It's not the original Ghana, so you cannot expect everything. Hungary is a quite, what you could say, cold country. So you will not have the tropical forests of Ghana. You will not have lions. But technically, legally, that embassy is Ghana. So similarly, when you have a bunch of people who are working and practicing the Bhagavad Gita, then Srila Prabhupada stresses that that's the principle of Vaikuntha, putting the Lord in the center. And we see, maybe you are a bit of a pessimist, but we see that in the temples, devotees are doing that. There is a deity, like you are in near Gita Nagari, okay? So in Gita Nagari, you have Radha Damodar, and devotees come, and for Mongol Arti, for Sandhya Arti, for Darshan Arti, and then they cook for the Radha Damodar, they take care of the guests of Radha Damodar, they clean the temple, Radha Damodar, then there is a Bhagavatam class, then there are festivals, Janmashtami, Radhastami. So, yeah, maybe not everyone is on the same level of absorption. But you could say, yeah, they are at least training to live like in Vaikuntha. They chant the names of Radha Damodar, like that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I am understanding the explanation to my question. But the reason I asked this question is because just like you were answering, you were giving beautiful analogies, like the Ghana embassy in Hungary. Of course, the temperature in Hungary is different from the temperature in Ghana. So even though the embassy of Ghana in Hungary is Ghana, but Ghana, they don't experience winter. But if you are in Hungary, you're going to experience winter. So the reason I ask this question is because sometimes some devotees say that we should not have competition. We should only have cooperation. But we live in this material world, and competition is associated with this material world. There will be competition. This is my understanding. There will be competition. We are practicing. So somebody may err, somebody may go wrong. And when somebody goes wrong, instead of we sitting back to understand that, after all, this is the nature of this material world. Let's see how we can get things better. Then we would like to crucify the individual for doing something improper. But we all say to err is human. So that is why I asked, because some people feel that simply because we are Hare Krishna devotees, we should not have any misunderstandings, we should not have any difficulties, we should not have any disputes whatsoever. And I feel that that would be, excuse me, an utopian world, because that would not exist. That is why I asked, is this very likely? Because even when Krishna came, there was Ravana. Now, even in the Satya Yuga, there was Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. There were demons. Jesus Christ came, he could not change everybody. Muhammad came, he could not change everybody. Lord Chaitanya came, he could not change everybody. When I say could not, means that they cannot, but they did not. So why do we think that we, insignificant loving entities, we can say or do something to make everybody do the right thing? So that is why I asked this question.
So you want me to comment?
I'm just saying this to buttress what you said and also find out from you if you have, excuse me, any follow-up explanation to give.
Look, I like to read something from Srila Prabhupada. This is a letter to Atreya Rishi. This is from 1972. I'm reading what Srila Prabhupada says, sometimes the gopis will quarrel over Krishna's favor. And once Krishna was so much attracted to Radharani that by mistake he tried to milk the bull instead of the cow. And sometimes when the gopi used to put on their dress and makeup for seeing Krishna, they would be too much hasty and smear kumkum and mascara in the wrong places. And the ornaments and dresses would appear as if small children had been trying to dress themselves, and they were not very expert. Like that. There are so many examples, but it is not the same as material fault or material envy. It is transcendental because it is all based on Krishna. Sometimes when one gopi would serve Krishna very nicely, the others would say, oh, she has done so nicely, so now let me do better for pleasing Krishna. That is envy, but it is transcendental, without malice. So we should not expect that anywhere there is utopia. Rather, that is impersonalism. People should not expect that even in the Krishna consciousness society there will be utopia. Because devotees are persons, therefore there will always be some lacking. But the difference is that they're lacking because they have given up everything to serve Krishna, money, jobs, reputation, wealth, big educations, everything. Their lackings have become transcendental. Because despite everything they may do, their topmost intention is to serve Krishna. So this is another letter, this time to Mr. Robert Keene in 1973. Apparently, this Robert Keene had some complaints. Srila Prabhupada replies, I do not know what are exactly the facts of the matter. But if there are any discrepancies, as you say, in the temples of ISKCON, they should be immediately rectified by conscientious officers. Of course, we cannot expect to find always any utopia in this material world. That is a fallacy. And it may appear to someone who is materialistically inclined that what we are doing is not only harmful to our materialistic condition, but also that we are not caring for our students and so many other things. So he is explaining that, okay, in the long run, these superficial things are not so important. But what I'm stressing is that Srila Prabhupada was very conscious that you cannot expect utopia. It was very clear. I have another letter here. There's a letter to Madhupuri. And it says, generally, we may never expect to find any utopia so long as we are in this material world. And sometimes, unless we are very spiritually advanced, we may also feel discomfort within the temples, within the temple itself. That is to be expected in some cases. Therefore, you should not be very much worried. Misunderstandings and disagreements will come. Okay, so anyway, so here it says, then it continues, despite all of their faults, the Vaishnava devotees must be given always all respects and assistance in serving the Lord. If we do not work cooperatively in this way, the whole thing will deteriorate. Now, the point is this, we should be mature and understand. I'm giving the link of this letter in the chat. We need to be mature, and like Srila Prabhupada says, we should not expect utopia. Utopia means as an imaginary place where everything is perfect, peaceful, prosperous, joyful, blissful, and there is no quarrel, no tension, no friction, no misunderstanding. if we expect that in ISKCON, it's like a child. A child believes in Santa Claus. A child may believe in Harry Potter. A child may believe in so many things. A child talks with dolls. Sometimes they don't see the difference between a real human and a doll. So they speak with a doll. Oh, how are you? Da, da, da. So this is imagination. So if we have an imagination that, oh, we go inside the temple and everything will be unicorns and butterflies and rivers of milk and honey, then it's like we really have not understood the nature of this world. So when Srila Prabhupada speaks figuratively that the temple is Vaikuntha, he says many times, the temple is Vaikuntha. There are principles, there is resemblance, there is, we could say, the overall implicit motivation of Vaikuntha. Otherwise, why we install deities? We install deities because we want those deities to be the center of the temple, of the community, and that's the principle of Vaikuntha. But of course, we still don't have four arms, we are still not gopis, and there are some exceptional devotees who are exemplary and exemplify that spirit of devotion in everything. But most of us are practicing, learning, going, despite the anarthas, despite the contamination, the conditioning, the psychological maladjustments. I don't know if that helps.
Very much, yes. It's interesting you found these letters from Srila Prabhupada, because I'm happy to say this, that I'm really excited to hear these letters from Srila Prabhupada, because that is how I feel. That is my opinion, that I'm a struggling individual. So it's going to take me some time to come to the level of behaving properly as a Vaishnava. And so if someone finds some shortcomings in my activities and condemns me right away, he's not helping me. And if I do the same to another person, I'm not helping the person. But at the same time, we have to encourage devotees to try to come to the expected level of being Vaishnava. But we should not be so much surprised when someone falls short. That is who we are. That is what I'm saying, because oftentimes a devotee may fall short and we're ready to crucify the devotee. Then how are we going to encourage people? And we go out to preach, to have new people to come in. And the very ones we have, if we cannot maintain them, then what is the use? It's just like having a basket and trying to fill it with water. The water keeps seeping out. So that is why I asked this question, and I'm very much grateful for the answer and the references from Srila Prabhupada indicating that we should not expect utopian in this world. It's not going to happen. So thank you so much. Anyone with something else to ask or to share? Prabhuji, okay, we still have some minutes to go. Hare Krishna. Well, since nobody has anything to ask yet, I have one question. In the text itself, the four Kumaras were talking about harmony. And I was thinking, in the Vaikuntha, as they are describing, there's harmony. Srila Prabhupada also elaborated in this paper, there is harmony. In this material world, how do we expect full harmony where we have these clashes? I mean, we see the tsunamis, we see the tornadoes, and all these are being carried out by the devas. Meanwhile, Krishna has stated in Bhagavad Gita, I think chapter 3 something, where he says that by the cooperation of humans and the demigods, everything good, nice will be fulfilled in our world. But we do not see that because the living entities, especially those of us in this material world, are so rascals that we do not want to cooperate with the demigods. And if we do not cooperate with the demigods, then the demigods are also not going to cooperate with us. So my question again, which is similar to my first question, is this harmony. Is it something that we can experience sometimes and other times not experience, or we can experience it all the time, or we can never experience it at all?
Okay, I'm opening the dictionary, Merriam-Webster. Okay, harmony. One meaning is pleasing arrangements of parts, like a painting, exhibiting harmony of color and line. The other meaning is agreement, accord, means there is agreement, we are in harmony. Like for instance, okay, you believe in Bhagavad Gita, I believe in Bhagavad Gita, we are in harmony. We are not saying, oh, you believe in Bhagavad Gita, I believe in Quran, let's kill each other. So there is also harmony, psychologically, is called internal calm, tranquility. That could be also in a country. No, there is harmony, there is no war, nobody's killing anybody, at least not in large scale. So another meaning, harmony, is literary. When you have books, that there is an interweaving of different accounts into a single narrative. In other words, three different people describe the same scene, the same episode, the same narration, and they say the same things. So there is harmony in their description. So harmony, we could see, it's a very broad concept, but basically we could say agreement. Now, in this material world, certainly there can be agreement, at least on the majority of aspects. Like for instance, sometimes, let's say, now we are all individuals. I see there are 17 participants from different parts of the world, from different backgrounds, different ages, different experiences in life. But I'm sure if we analyze each of us, I'm from Italy, you're from Ghana, other people are from different parts. If we analyze, we'll agree on most things. Probably all of us are vegetarians. We don't eat cows. We don't eat meat, fish, eggs. We don't eat even onion and garlics. I don't know all of you, but probably. We all accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. We accept the Shastra. We most probably accept Srila Prabhupada as the founder of Acharya. So if we analyze, there is a lot of harmony. Now, we may disagree on some details or on the application of some principles. Like you said, well, if somebody makes a mistake, you cannot crucify him. Well, yes, it depends also on the mistake. How big is the mistake? Some people may say, no, this mistake is too big. this devotee cannot come to the temple anymore. Maybe he abused a child, I don't know. He cannot come to the temple anymore. It's too dangerous. Some other mistake, maybe he stole some money from the hundi. He may have stolen some money from the donation box. So what we need to discuss, can he come back? Maybe he should bring the money back he stole. Maybe we should call the police. We can disagree. We all agree that the money in the donation box belongs to the deity, okay? And we all agree that it's bad to steal the money from the donation box. We all agree. So there is harmony. Now, there may be some disagreement, some disharmony. How to deal with the devotee who stole the money? Should we ban him? Should we just preach to him? Should we sit to him and say, Prabhu, I know you're a devotee. If you stole the money, means you really need it. I mean, you have some emergency, tell us. Maybe we can help. So the application of the principle is where often there are discrepancies, different ideas. Like another example, we all agree that we should accept the guru, right? It's in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, we should take initiation. It's in the books. The Acharya says that. Now, some people say, yeah, we can also take initiation from a woman. And if this person is Krishna conscious, exemplary, senior, sincere, studious, knows the Shastra. And some people say, no, we cannot take from a woman. But we accept most of the idea. We need a guru, we need to take initiation, the guru must know the Shastra. We agree on most of the package, but one element maybe we don't agree. So we should also be careful that we don't focus only on the disagreements. Because if we see only the disagreements, then we'll be all black, all dark, all toxic. But actually, it's our mind fixing on that. I give an example. One devotee book distributor told me a story. He was in a house trying to sell the books, and there was the lady of the house, and there was a worker, an electrician inside. So this lady was saying, oh, look at this electric box, this, what do you call when you push the light buttons? You see these light buttons? They're not the same color of the wall. They're not the same color of the furniture. How this for me? I can't live like this. I can't live like this. So it's a true story. So the Sankirtan devotee and the electrician, they just look at each other, say, without a word, they understood this lady is crazy. This lady is psychologically affected. She has a beautiful house, but because the light fixtures don't match the furniture, she's completely devastated. She's completely agitated. Why? Because she doesn't see the rest. Beautiful house, beautiful kitchen, beautiful furniture. Just the fact that this doesn't match for her was like, how can I stay here? You have to change it immediately. So we need to not make the same mistake and see disharmony, because there is disharmony. Of course, we are human beings and so different, but most of it is harmony. Most of it we agree. But most things, if we make a list, we can make a list of things we agree. There are hundreds and thousands of things we agree.
Yeah.
But there are some elements of application which are debatable. They are questionable. They are not written black and white in the Shastra. There are so many aspects. That's why Srila Prabhupada created the GBC, and the GBC makes a vote. They discuss, and they make a vote, and the majority wins. It's not that every time. Sometimes the vote is completely consensus. Everybody agrees. Sometimes the thing is so clear, everybody's in agreement. But sometimes, often, maybe a vast majority agrees, but some people doesn't agree because we are human beings. We see from different perspective. We have different values. Again, also in Krishna consciousness. And for some people, one element is more important than the other, than another element. Like you have that devotee who stole from the donation box. For somebody, compassion and recuperation, rehabilitation is more important. If somebody, justice, no, he's a thief, you need to send to the police, let him do it. No, he broke the law. He broke the law of the temple. He broke the law of the country, and that the police deal with that. And each has some reason. They're not just saying randomly. They're saying, no, we need to protect. If we don't do anything, next time he will do it again. Everybody will do it. And other people say, no, but if we treat him like this, he may not come anymore. What about the soul? What about this long-term purification? So my crisp answer is, let's not fall into the trap of seeing only the disagreement, because there is a lot of agreement.
Very much. This is so beautiful, Prabhuji. This is like, for lack of proper word, King Solomon speaking. It's full of wisdom.
Just yesterday, I give you an example. I'm here in Mayapur,
Yeah.
at home in Gora village. Just yesterday, one devotee was passing by. By the way, he will become my neighbor. He's just finishing his house, just like 40 meters from here. And we have some disagreements in the past. But about clothing, meaning he say, no, we should wear Western clothes. I say, well, it's not obligatory. Anyway, without getting into the details, but we had some disagreement also online on Facebook. But then, we met, we embraced. I was happy to see him. He appeared happy to see me. And, Hare Krishna, we are friends. I consider him my friend, but doesn't mean I have to agree with everything he says or he thinks to be friendly. Chandrasekhar Maharaj, you know him from New York.
Yeah.
He said something very wise. I mean, I'm sure he says things which are wise every time, every day.
Yeah.
Once I was there, he was saying, look, even with the most close friend, you sometimes will have different opinion. You take all the devotees, take the one which most your friend, most in your mood, similar mentality, maybe same guru, whatever. And then say, even with that person, you will have sometime on certain thing, you'll see in one way, you'll see another way. So you basically was saying that we need to accept it as a fact and not be disturbed. That's so take from the association of devotees all the good, take from each devotee. Remember that we have a lot in common. We agree on most things, and on certain things we don't see eye to eye due to different reasons, conditioning, background, culture, maybe the mood of the day. They made a study in Israel about the judges. And they made a study that in the afternoon after lunch, they give heavier punishments. The same judges. In the morning, they give milder sentences. And in the afternoon, after lunch, they give heavier sentences. So it's just a physiological thing. If you're digesting, your brain is heavier, right? You may want to be sleeping, not stay there on a bench and with these criminals like that. So you feel a little bit irritated, right? Now in the morning you're fresh, you come from home, you slept in the night, you took a nice breakfast, you come to the court and you're fresh and you say, okay, go uh, apply the law, but you apply whatever, a little milder. They made a study, but in the afternoon it's heavier because you're digesting whatever. So sometimes it's just a physiological thing. The guy has a bad day, It's not like he's like that. He has a bad day. So I don't know. I have bad days. I don't know about you, but I have bad days.
I do.
Okay, so maybe we meet on a different day and we seems to be different people.
Yeah, very much. Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. We have barely 5 minutes left. Dear devotees, does anyone have something brief to ask or to share before our revered speaker leaves for the day? I actually had 2 questions, but I don't think I need to ask any because I think they both may take so much time. Except, I think this one shouldn't take too much time. And that is, you were talking about like devotees within the material world going to different places where Krishna is enacting his pastimes to continue their devotional service so they may go back to the spiritual world. Some devotees have the opinion that in this four-headed Brahma's universe, Krishna only comes to the Earth planet to enact pastimes, not any other planet within this four-headed Brahma's universe. And I am surprised that that will be the case. Is that the case that in all the unlimited universes within this material world, Krishna goes to only one planet within that universe to represent the entire universe? Or Krishna sometimes goes from one planet to another planet?
Are you asking Krishna like with the flute or Krishna in the sense of Vishnu Tattvas?
Vishnu Tattvas.
I mean, we see, for instance, in the history of Vamanadev, that after capturing Bali Maharaj and so on, then he says, you go to Sutala Loka, which is obviously a different planet than Earth. And then I will be there as your guard, actually. I will guard the place for you, a place which actually is even better than the heavenly planets. So, at least in that case, of course, we have Krishna living in Sutala, which is not the Earth. And so that's the first examples that come to mind. And of course, there are the different manifestations of Krishna, like Kurma, and he's in the ocean of milk, which is getting churned. And Mohini Murti appears there and doesn't seem to be the earth. There are all the demigods, the asuras. So I don't see this principle in action. I'm not sure. Maybe they have some other reference, or maybe they're talking about in a more circumscribed way. But what we read in the Bhagavatam is that, in fact, we can see like there is the whole description of Jambudvipa in the fifth canto, and on different parts of Jambudvipa, the different devotees worship different forms of the Lord, Hayagriva and so on. And that doesn't appear to be the earth, at least not the earth of our experience. So I'm not sure. We should ask those devotees what they mean or what they are referencing.
Okay, okay. I think that, I mean, the reference we give is sufficient to prove that.
And Vamana Deva himself covers the whole universe, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
it covers up and down and everywhere.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, dear devotees. In fact, Prabhuji, we thank you so much for stepping in to render this service.
My
Uh,
pleasure that to see all of you. My privilege.
and when I saw you, that is the first impression I got, but it's not as bad because I was thinking maybe she is ill, but if it's fatigue, uh,
No,
it's better. It's better. So
it's a special day today because she's working on a course.
yeah,
By the way, it's a course which is, I show you the course she's working on. It was also mentioned in, it was also mentioned in the ISKCON news. I don't know if you have seen it,
okay,
but I want to send you the link so you,
please.
you know more about that. Um, let me see if I find it easily.
Well, there are some important references put in the chat room. If you may copy them before this sangha comes to an end, that would be wonderful. Some references Prabhuji gave us, they are in the chat room, so you may copy those, plus what he's trying to share with us now.
Yeah, I was looking for, let's see, because it was 1 week ago. I mean, the course has to still start, but it was, let me see, I'll probably find it quickly. Oh, yeah, here it is.
Okay.
Rewiring karmic patterns. So I'll put it in the chat for you all.
Good.
Just so she's working very hard on this, and so the day was very, very packed. So at the end, she said, "Please, you do."
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank
So,
you so
but
much.
I want to invite you all because there is disharmony. There is disharmony in the world, as you can see. There is disharmony in ISKCON, but we need to. One invitation, and then I'm going. But one invitation I have is that why sometimes, not every time, but why sometimes is so important for us that will be a perfect harmony. In other words, psychologically, why sometimes this lack of harmony affects us so much? Why? Why? We should ask ourselves. Because not everybody is so affected. Some people, it's like an ocean. If we are on the water, on the surface, then there is rain, and then you become disturbed. Then there is too much sun, you become disturbed. But if you are inside the ocean, then you really don't feel the rain, you don't feel the sun. So similarly, why we are so disturbed? Sometimes maybe there are different reasons. One is that we want to be God. We want to be enjoying, and so, oh, there is disagreement. I'm not enjoying. So sometimes it's just selfishness. It's like entitlement. Oh, there should be everything perfect. Everybody should be smiling at me. Everybody should be agreeable with me. And why is not like that? It's like we are surprised that somehow people don't worship us with their harmony. And the other thing is that we may not be absorbed so much into our chanting, into our reading, because if we are absorbed in the Bhagavatam, like you are kindly doing, as a group and yourself, especially the poor, then you know the things of the world. Yeah, there may be some what do you call some resonance or some reverberation, but it's not so important because yeah, you have something more important to do. So you are your holy name, you're happy with the holy name. So whatever Trump says or Putin does or this or that, it's like, yeah, or even this devotee does or that devotee doesn't do. Yeah, okay, we take notice, but you know, it doesn't affect us because we are inside the ocean. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? We are in the ocean. So we are not affected by those things. We know about it, yeah, but we're not so affected.
Yeah.
So I wish you all, please wish me a full absorption in devotion service, despite all obstacles. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We are very much grateful. Dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our deepest appreciation and gratitude to His grace. Shri Kuntiya Prabhu for stepping in to share Krishna Katha with us in such a beautiful manner. Please, you may all unmute. Jai. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatare Vishta, Krisidevacham, Kitana Vaishnava Vrinda Ki.
Please come to your desk, Prabhu Ki Jai. Prabhupada Prabhupada. Our glories are seen devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare